The now number 1 in the country ranked Texas Longhorns return home to the friendly confines of DKR in Austin to take on Louisiana Monroe in a non-conference matchup, the final tune-up before SEC play finally gets underway for Texas. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Dave Shumate. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game as the Longhorns and the Warhawks do battle on Saturday night. Guys, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. We're brought to you by our friends over at MyBookie. Go to MyBookie.ag, use promo code SECU at sign up to receive a special welcome offer on your first deposit. Get that, that's MyBookie.ag, promo code SECU to get your special welcome offer today. The Texas Longhorns, who are now ranked number 1 in the country in the AP poll for the first time in quite a while, take on Louisiana Monroe at DKR in Austin, Texas. Helping me preview, predict, and break down this game, my good friend, as always, Dave Shumate. Dave, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, I mean, we didn't think we'd be talking about a preview already with Arch coming in to start this game, huh? I mean, unfortunately, we got it with unfortunate situations. Granted, I mean, it's not like Quinn Ewers is out for the year. It's just what it come out, abdominal strain, oblique strain, essentially.
About 2-3 weeks. About 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. So, I mean, we're getting to the Arch train immediately. I think ULM's a little bit better than people anticipated, but you couldn't ask for this game coming up on a better time for Texas. I mean, think about it. They got ULM this week, Mississippi State bye week before the Red River, and then Georgia come to town. So you got a couple weeks. No offense to ULM, Mississippi State, but you feel like Mississippi State, Texas has some time to work some things out, where some mistakes that they would commit against Oklahoma and Georgia would probably get them beat. Probably didn't get you beat on the scoreboard. You don't want to put it on film. But no, I mean, good time. It's a good point in the schedule if this was going to happen. Again, Texas has the best quarterback room, I think, in the country. It's proven. But I think everybody, the story is going to be excited to see Arch. Texas a little banged up as well. Nitpicky, not long-term injuries, but guys like Kelvin Banks went out, I think, yesterday, came back in, left tackle. Muhammad came out. I think Janae Barron went out with a little bit of an injury as well. They didn't even play Jaden Blue. So I think they're a little nicked up. Maybe get a couple of weeks to get right. But again, ULM's a little better than your grandpa's Warhawks.
Dave, this game at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. local time kickoff there in Austin, Texas at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. Game being televised on ESPN Plus and or SEC Network Plus. The Longhorns are a 45-point favorite in this game. The over-under set at 52.5. So, Dave, you do the math. They're not expecting ULM to score a whole lot in this one. Texas leads the all-time series 2-0. The last meeting came in 2022. Texas won the game 52-10. A little bit on the Warhawks. They are 2-0 coming in this game. A lot of momentum. W's over Jackson State and UAB, scoring 31 points per game in those two contests, allowing just 10 points per game. Their QB1 is none other than General Booty. And if you know nothing else about him other than his name, you're not the only one. But when your name is General Booty, everybody is going to know who you are. Ahmad Hardy.
Texas fans will remember he's a former Oklahoma Sooner now.
They will. They will indeed remember him. Ahmad Hardy, James Jones, their top running backs for the Warhawks, Javon Campbell, Devon Wells, top targets at receiver, and linebacker Billy Pullen leads the way. He leads the team, Dave, currently with 3 sacks and 4 tackles for loss. But let's call it for what it is. This game is all about Texas. Dave, they're now number 1 in the country ranked Texas Longhorns. I think the first time, since 2006, I think I read. Is that correct? Or maybe I'm wrong. Or is it 2009? I may have misread that. It's been quite a while, though.
Right, yeah. I think maybe Florida won all the way through 9 until the SEC.
I think so, yeah. So I think it's been 2006. I mean, it's been.
That would make sense. That's prime Colt McCoy, right?
Yeah, it's been almost 20 years. So, Dave, maybe a silly question. I don't think there's much to make of that. The rankings are what they are. Does that affect Texas in any way? I mean, do they play any different? Do they do anything any different now that being number 1? I don't think so. I mean, is there anything you've been internally? Is there anything in the building where it's like, hey, just continue to block out the noise? I know, again, you're playing ULM, but I mean, is there any extra added pressure being number 1?
These guys probably wouldn't. I shouldn't say. A lot of them have Twitter accounts and stuff. They'll scroll. They're on more than most people kind of think, and they pay attention to it. But maybe the SID lets them know, like, hey, you're number 1 now. But to a team like Texas now, it's like, great, we're number 1 in the middle.
They were just number 2, so it's like, what is the difference? You know, like. Yeah, what is the difference? You were just number 2. Now you're number 1. Again, Dave, the big storyline in this one, Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers is out. Talked to a Texas guy. Talked to one of my Texas guys over the weekend after the game on Sunday, and essentially let me know nothing serious, that ab injury, 2 to 3 weeks, but this opens the door for Arch Manning to come in and do his thing. And boy, oh boy, was he fantastic in that game against UTSA. Had the long touchdown run. By the way, Dave, longest run by a Texas quarterback since Vince Young. Pretty good name there, right? Not too bad. He was dynamic in the passing game. The Arch for Heisman campaign, I feel like, is already kind of starting to gear up. I've seen some people say he's going to win a Heisman before he leads Austin. 9 for 12, 223, 4 touchdowns in the game. Thoughts on Arch Manning, Dave, his game? And, I mean, I guess what we're looking for and expecting is pretty simple. It's just another big game and a big outing. But I'll ask you this, Dave. Let's say he goes back out there, throws 4 or 5 more touchdowns. He had 5 total touchdowns in the game against UTSA. Let's say he has 5 more. That's actually very realistic. Say he has 5 more. I don't want to throw around the words quarterback controversy. I don't think there will be one internally. I think Quinn is this he's the guy for this team. Do you think the media will start to kind of make something out of this? Like, do you feel like there will be a push from the media aspect? Like, it's an interesting dynamic at the quarterback spot. It's an embarrassment of riches for Texas, but excited to see Arch Manning work yet again under center.
I mean, look, Sarks came out openly and stated he doesn't like to run his quarterbacks. He's never really done that. But Arch is one of the few quarterbacks he's had, and I think it brings that dynamic a little bit too. He's more athletic than you think. You saw him bust that run on the back zone read that he busted one for a touchdown. You saw that. He does add another different dynamic, but I don't think if you ask Sark, he doesn't really want to use that. I mean, let's say Arch Manning plays the next 2 weeks before the bye. Let's just he's obviously playing this week. Quinn Ewers isn't going to play. Let's just say he starts Mississippi State and they sit Quinn again before the week for the bye week. I mean, he's about to play 2 not good defenses that he should take advantage of going into the bye week. Even if there was a controversy, and let's say you gave him the start against Oklahoma, I'm not saying that, Texas fans. I'm just saying if we're playing this hypothetical scenario, I do not want Arch Manning starting in the Red River rivalry against Brent Venables in a Zach Alley defense. In a veteran Oklahoma defense that doesn't really have a lot of question marks at all 3 levels. They would throw the kitchen sink at him. You bring in Quinn Ewers back, there's nothing they've not thrown at him that Quinn Ewers has not seen before. I'd be a little hesitant, especially your next 2 games off the bye week are Oklahoma and Georgia back-to-back. Yeah, I mean, you could have Arch's head spinning with this stuff. Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart, like I said, Zach Alley and Brent Venables would be thrown at him in a 2-week period where I think Quinn would be – the heart rate wouldn't be up as much, obviously, because he's played in big games. I don't think there's one. Again, I think it's going to be the classic. He's not going to lose his job off injury, but I do expect this week Arch to play well, put up big numbers. If he gets to start against Mississippi State's defense has done nothing to tell me they could stop him in the Texas run game. So I would see, and through the air as well, but I could see him having 2 big back-to-back weeks. I would be shocked if you saw him starting against Oklahoma.
Same. I don't think Quinn Ewers is losing that job via injury. And I think it's more a positive for Texas, obviously, than anything that, we've seen Quinn Ewers. I mean, yet again, here he is. And I don't want to knock the kid for it, but here he is yet again, Dave. A lot of people predicted, he's injury prone. What if he goes down with an injury again? Sure enough, it happened, right? I mean, it just whatever. You could say whatever, but it happened. So if it happens again, this experience he's getting is invaluable. I mean, if you were going to have to play him and use him, this is the spot, right? UTSA, ULM, and Mississippi State. Like, this is the spot to get some reps, get live bullets, get some confidence, feel good about yourself. You bring Quinn back. Now down the road, if you got to use him again, you feel comfortable. He's been out there. He's done it before. He feels good about his game. I think it's a win-win-win for Texas, truly. You mentioned no Jaden Blue in that game. I noticed against UTSA, Jarrett Gibson was really big in the run game for them. The freshman, I'll be really interested to see if they feature him more. And then another youngster, man, Ryan Wingo, really burst on the scene, had a big game in this one. You look at his game, 3 catches for 127 yards and a touchdown. Also, Isaiah Bond on the outside was incredible. 5 catches, 103 and 2 touchdowns. But the youngsters, Dave, I'm excited to continue to watch the development of these young guys. And again, these are going to be dudes that are going to help them down the stretch.
No, 100%. I think that's going to be key in this one. I don't think Texas is really going to go try to look that impressive in this game. So I think they're going to kind of want to go get in control of the game, put it in cruise control, and get our guys in, like you mentioned, the young guys, I mean, you got plenty of it. Colin Simmons is obviously the name, the face, like you mentioned, Ryan Wingo on offense, but Alex January on defense, Ty Anthony Smith at a backer spot. You have Javion Cole at one of the corner spots. I think you mix that in. You keep getting Jarrett Gibson as many reps as possible. Unless Belton Garner, the running back they took on late, who's a graduate transfer, probably start getting him some reps. We signed him when I was at Kansas. He's a Dallas kid, good running back. Unless he's like ineligible or something, but I would assume they would start getting him some reps as well. You probably even see, let's be honest, the true freshman Trey Owens as well. You saw him this past week under center when they got Arch out of the game from Cy Fair from the Houston area. So that would be I'm with you. I think if you really ask Sark and them, they're like, hey, man, let's go try to get some of our young bucks some reps here because, again, season's longer than ever. You got to start putting some young guys, some depth guys in games to get film on them. So when injuries inevitably happen and your depth takes a shot, you got to be able to know who you can trust in situations like that. So I think Sark, PK, Pete Kwiatkowski, Kyle Flood and them, AJ Milwee, or that's probably when they're meeting as a staff, as coordinators, probably like, hey, we need to start building that depth. Because again, guys, we're not just trying to go win, obviously 8-9 games at Texas and be satisfied. We got to build that depth, that top 40, that top 45 to go potentially play 16, 17 games.
And Dave, like we mentioned, again, this game is all about Texas, right? The final tune-up. I think it is interesting. The final tune-up before SEC play. But your first SEC game is Mississippi State. So it's like, SEC play does get going, but we just saw the Bulldogs get drilled by Toledo. So it's not quite the dramatic SEC opener that maybe Texas thought they were going to be getting when they found out they were going to be joining the league some years ago. Anything, Dave, from the ULM side you're excited to see? I mean, General Booty.
Yeah, former UAB coach Bryant Vincent's their new head coach. I don't know him, but I know some people who do know him. Seems like a good guy. But, I mean, overall, he's got them. And they got, it's Jackson State and UAB, but we saw UAB give Arkansas hell, and they kind of controlled that game. So ULM's definitely improved.
And that's a proud program, too. Very proud program. They take their football very seriously. So, that being said, again, the final tune-up before SEC play, like I just mentioned, like you said, Dave, going to be a lot of youngsters, going to be a lot of young guys getting in. I would imagine anybody who's less than 100% is going to be sitting out. I don't know why you would push anybody in this one. And again, it's going to be a great opportunity for Sark and company to flex the depth and, continue to empty the roster and name their score, if you will. We said this exact same thing last week about Texas. And if we sound like we're repeating ourselves, it's because we are. Because for the second straight week, Texas is facing an opponent that you should absolutely drag up and down the field. So, Dave, with that being said, let's lock in some predictions for this one. I'll go ahead and start. Not a lot to say about it. Texas wins this one 66-7. I think Texas has reached the place, Dave, from a gambling standpoint. Bet on them to cover until they don't, because they are a covering machine right now. And I think with Arch Manning and company, all the weapons they have, the track speed they have on the outside, I think they're going to be able to score at will and as much as they want. And I think they're, maybe they won't try to pummel ULM, but dude, they're just that much better. I think they're just going to go up and down and up and down and up and down the field. Name your score, empty the bench. I'll go 66-7. Texas covers and wins big to be feeling real good rolling into SEC play.
Yeah, I won't go as many points as you're saying, because I could see them bringing in some young guys on the offensive line. ULM's going to keep their guys in. I'll go 52-7. Again, I don't see them. Again, Vegas expects ULM, as you saw, the point line, the line being 45, the point total being, 52.5. They're not expecting ULM to score much. So I'm going to follow that little breadcrumb trail there and lead with that, because usually Vegas hitting wrong. So I'm going to go 52-7. I think a low-scoring game, because even Texas's young defenders are good players as well. I think they could hold their own and keep the Warhawk offense at that level out of the end zone with as talented as even some of the young guys are at Texas. So I think 52-7, control it. We'll see Trey Owens again, true freshman quarterback. I think it's all Texas again. Quinn Ewers going out, but you probably on the schedule couldn't have. Again, you never want him going out, but you couldn't ask for a better time from a luck standpoint these next 3 weeks.
The General Booty disrespect is real by the SEC Unfiltered crew. So we'll see if General Booty can prove us wrong. I highly doubt it, but we shall see. Guys, let us know what you think. Are we right? Are we wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you see this one playing out when Texas and Louisiana Monroe do battle on Saturday night in Austin? Guys, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website seCunfiltered.com. For Dave Shumate, I'm Chris Phillips. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.